When disaster strikes, survival doesn't belong to the strongest person in the room. It belongs to the most prepared. Whether it's a sudden power outage, getting lost in the wilderness, or a car breaking down miles from help, survival hinges on small, decisive actions done right and done fast. Throughout history, especially in wartime and frontier life, these core skills meant the difference between life and death. In this guide, we'll go over 7 life-saving survival skills that everyone, from city dwellers to backcountry adventurers, should know and practice. Survival starts with controlling your panic before your environment controls you. The first and most critical survival skill isn't physical, it's mental. Panic has killed more people in emergencies than hunger or cold. During World War II, pilots who crashed at sea often drowned within minutes because they thrashed and lost control instead of floating and conserving energy. Soldiers in the Arctic who stayed calm lasted hours longer in sub-zero temperatures than those who panicked. The first rule is to stop, breathe, and assess. Survival instructors call it the rule of 3s. You can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in harsh weather, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. That mental reset gives your brain control over your body's instinct to panic. If you ever get lost in the wild, the first minute determines the outcome. Stop moving. Orient yourself. Sit down, slow your breathing, and plan your next move. The human body is resilient, but the human mind must lead it. Fire is life, and you must know 3 ways to make it. Civilizations were built on fire, and survival depends on it. Fire provides warmth, cooks food, purifies water, and wards off predators. But in an emergency, lighters fail, matches get wet, and batteries die. During World War II, soldiers carried multiple ways to start fires: flint, wax matches, and charcloth. The reason was simple. Redundancy meant survival. The practical takeaway today is this: know at least 3 methods to start a fire without relying on modern tools. A ferro rod is dependable even when wet. A magnifying lens works under the sun. A steel wool and battery combo can ignite tinder instantly. More important than the tools, however, is knowing your tinder. Cotton balls rubbed in petroleum jelly, birch bark, or even dry lint from your pocket can start a flame faster than raw wood. Master fire starting in all conditions. It's one of the oldest survival arts for a reason. Shelter isn't about comfort. It's about controlling temperature loss. When hypothermia sets in, it doesn't matter how tough you are. Your body will shut down. Survival shelter isn't about luxury. It's about minimizing exposure and conserving body heat. Military manuals taught soldiers to build quick, low-profile shelters using whatever they had: branches, ponchos, or snow. They understood that the ground steals heat faster than the air, so they always insulated from below first, using pine boughs, straw, or even extra clothing layers. For anyone caught outdoors, the sequence should be the same: protect from wind first, insulate second, cover last. A lean-to, debris hut, or even a tarp angled against the wind is better than an open space. Modern survivalists can carry emergency blankets or mylar sheets that reflect up to 90% of body heat. But even without them, nature provides what you need if you act fast and think logically. Water discipline separates survivors from victims. Dehydration creeps up faster than hunger and can destroy your judgment long before your body gives up. In the desert campaigns of the Second World War, soldiers learned to sip and ration, never chug water and never wait until thirst hits. They filtered water through cloth, used solar stills, or boiled it in canteens when possible. Even in cold environments, dehydration was common because people ignored water while shivering in the cold. For anyone stranded or off-grid, it's vital to learn to identify safe sources. Flowing streams, morning dew and rainwater are generally safer than stagnant pools. If you can, boil your water for at least a full minute to kill pathogens. In emergencies, solar disinfection using a clear plastic bottle and direct sunlight for 6 hours can reduce bacteria dramatically. Survival isn't about finding water. It's about managing it wisely. Navigation is, a dying skill that once kept armies alive. Before GPS and compasses, navigation relied on instinct, observation and training. Back in the day, WW scouts could find direction using moss growth, star positions, or even the shape of snowdrifts. These days, most people can't point north without a phone. Yet, knowing direction can honestly save your life if you're lost. Remember, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Midday shadows point north in the northern hemisphere. At night, the North Star remains fixed above the horizon, giving you a reliable bearing. To stay oriented, mark your path as you move. Tie strips of cloth, break small branches, or use stones to mark your turns. If you lose direction, retrace your steps to your last known point rather than wandering further. Navigation isn't about finding shortcuts. It's about preventing those deadly circles of confusion. The body can survive hunger, but not poor hygiene in the field. One of the least discussed yet most critical survival lessons from WO2 came from trench warfare. Disease killed more soldiers than bullets. Poor sanitation, contaminated food and unwashed hands spread infections that crippled entire units. In survival conditions, the same rule absolutely applies. Even when resources are scarce, maintaining hygiene prevents small problems from turning fatal. Boil utensils. Wash your hands with sand or ash if no soap is available, and always bury waste far from water sources. Field improvisation works. Use alcohol wipes, salt water, or natural antiseptics like pine resin and honey to keep wounds clean. Survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about, staying functional. The strongest survivors were those who built routines. Discipline, not luck, kept people alive in harsh conditions. Butu prisoners of war, Arctic explorers and stranded sailors all developed strict routines, checking gear, drying socks, rationing food and maintaining morale. They didn't let despair set in because structure created purpose. Even in short-term emergencies, routines stabilize the mind. Wake up, check your shelter, gather water, prepare firewood and plan the next step. This repetitive cycle reduces anxiety and keeps your focus sharp. Survival, at its core, is the art of controlling chaos through consistent action. Every one of these 7 skills, mental control, fire, shelter, water, navigation, hygiene and discipline, forms the foundation of true survivalism. They're not just field tricks. They're the knowledge that kept generations alive before technology replaced instinct. If this kind of practical history-rooted survival wisdom inspires you, subscribe to Backyard Wisdom. Every episode explores the forgotten skills, wartime ingenuity, and field-tested methods that can still save lives today. Share this guide with someone who values self-reliance and old-world knowledge. Because when modern systems fail, The oldest lessons are the ones that endure.